Just out here looking any old kind of way in these streets, but I feel as though I need to talk about this. Hi there, I'm a local hippie, and today we're going to talk about Passenger Princess by Morgan Elizabeth. I think that's her name. But first, let me get my... We're in there. I'm going to have the picture up here. This book... See, the crazy thing about when you're reading a book and it starts out promising and then it slowly degrades as you read it. It just goes down and down and down and down and down and down and more down. The thing about that situation is that it starts out promising, and so you're like, okay, I'm going to give this a try, and then you just keep saying I'm going to give this a try. I'm giving it a try until bam, you're 50% through the book and you're like, I don't like this. Nor do I like these characters, nor do I like this premise, nor do I like anything about this book. When I say that Passenger Princess had absolutely no redeeming qualities for me, that is what I mean. Now, I think that sometimes it's a little difficult to find things to read on Kindle Unlimited because there is an abundance of romances, science fiction, romantasy, dystopian, whatever you want. You could probably find it on Kindle Unlimited, but the question is not whether it can be found. It's whether once you find it, is it even worth being found? You know, finding a really, really good book on Kindle Unlimited, I feel, is starting to feel like a needle in a haystack. And I can read something that I don't like, but there has to be some redeeming quality that the book has. And there has to be some kind of intrigue, whether I'm interested in one or more of the characters, whether I'm interested in the plot, whether I like the author's writing or their narrative voice. Something. Give me something. Passenger Princess gave me nothing. It gave me nothing. It gave me she was giving nothing. Okay? Which is very sad to me. Because like I said, it started out promising. It started out like something that I would like. I mean, we're talking about a woman who's competing in a beauty pageant at the, I believe it's the national level, I believe, for the Miss Americana title. And we're following Ava Bordeaux, and on her journey, across the US, stopping, I think, at every state, if not every state, it's at least every state in the lower 48, I believe, possibly, promoting women owned business, which, cool. I like that. And I also like the idea of, an author writing about and exploring the world of pageantry. I think because, like, as a girl, you're just kind of like, especially a girl who grew up watching TLC and just like, I don't know, television in general, pop culture television, like anything like that. Like, you have so much, I almost want to say so much ammunition, so much to pull from in order to write a story like this. And from the premise, I just felt as though it sounded like something that, like, how could you go wrong? Almost. But everything went wrong. So basically, we're following Ava. She's going across the continental United States and leading up to her doing whatever it is that you do at the top end of a pageant. Because listen, I'm not going to lie to you. I DNF'd this book. I did. It's just true. I got to 200 pages and I was like, you know what? This is not for me. This is not what I thought it was going to be. This writing is just not for me. These characters are not for me. And I just felt almost loathed to pick this book back up because it was written the characters were so juvenile. These are characters who are in their late 20s, early to mid 30s, and they're behaving like they're college aged, which I don't love. I didn't feel any of that with Ava or with our MMC Jamie. Jamie especially felt immature. And these characters together, it just felt like they were not thought out. And with as fast as it seems that Morgan Elizabeth comes out with these books, how could your characters be fleshed out? How could they? I want to know, how could they when you're writing 10 books a year? I don't know. And I guess that's okay if there's some other redeeming quality, but like I said, there wasn't, not for me. And I don't want to rag on the story because I don't want to yuck somebody's yum. You know what I mean? Because there are plenty of people who enjoy her book. I looked at the stats of like where this book is ranking in the Kindle ecosystem of like romance, adventure, road trips, women's lit. I mean, it's doing numbers, so people like it. I just didn't. So there's that. I don't really have much to say because there just wasn't that much to this story, to be completely honest with you. And while that's what I'm looking for in Kindle Unlimited, that's why I'm there partially. The other half of why I'm there is because the books are free and I can read to my heart's content. And then also because even if you don't like something, you can learn a lot by reading things that you don't like. But I just felt there was just no reason for me to continue in that one, because yeah. So this one I rated 1.5 stars. Yeah, I tried my hardest and I really, really tried because, like I said at the beginning, it started out promising. And then I read the premise and I'm thinking, oh, this would be so cool if done properly. It was not done properly, at least to me. So, while the first like 50 pages were pretty fun, after that, it just felt like I was dragging myself through dirt, gravel, other unpleasant things just to even pick the book up, let alone read it. And this book, reading this book made me feel as though reading is hard. And it shouldn't do that because even when I was reading The Bride of the Haunted Manor, I didn't feel that way. I wanted to keep reading. Like I was half falling asleep. Just like, I got to read one more chapter. I've got to read one more chapter. Even though it wasn't written well, there was intrigue there because some people, they're not good at writing, but they're good at telling a story. You know what I'm saying? So I can read a book like that. I can read a book like that where it's not written very well and technically it's not very good. But there has to be some kind of intrigue for me, and that just did not happen with Passenger Princess. And I should not have judged a book by its cover because that cover had me thinking I was going to be having a good time. I did not. Actually. I had the opposite of a good time, actually. And I had to stop because I felt myself feeling as though I wouldn't want to read anything if I continued reading that book. So I had to stop. I had to give it a DNF, but I think I read enough. I read about 65% of the book. And then I went back and I read the little synopsis of the story or the recap with spoilers and everything that Kindle now does for books. And just so that I could do this review, but not necessarily because it's not really a review. It's just me. I just felt like I needed to kind of vent, you know? I had to vent. This is why, I don't advocate for readers to push through books that they just absolutely cannot stand because that kind of shit will put you in a reading slump. And nobody wants to be in a reading slump. Not when there are so many good books out here and we have so little time to read them all. Come on, we can't do that. We can't be doing that. But those are my feelings about Passenger Princess by Morgan Elizabeth. I think I'm going to try to read something else by her and kind of see if maybe this was just a blip, a little bit of a fluke. Hopefully it was. I really, really hope that it was. And maybe I can find something by her that I like. But until then, I hope you have a good day. I hope you have a good evening. And most importantly, I hope you read a good book. And I'll see you when I see you. Bye.